Welcome to the Northwest Local School District Board of Education meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Amy, would you take roll call, please?
Yes. Mrs. Taube?
Here.
Mr. Gilbert? Mr. Detzel?
Here.
Mr. Heather?
Here.
Mrs. Slattery?
Here.
All right, and our mission statement is the Northwest Local School District will create a responsive learning community where all students are valued, challenged, and guided along a pathway to success. And I need a motion and a second to approve our agenda for this evening.
So moved. Second. You vote again? Jim? What am I doing?
You have to vote.
Yeah, no, I know. I couldn't get my mouse
Okay,
moving.
yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Yes, it's 4-0. All right.
All right, tonight we have quite a few presentations we're going to start with, so we're going to ask the board to come down to the front row so they can actually be a part of the presentations, see the presentations, and be a supporter of that. So we're going to ask the board to come to the front row. And our first presentation tonight is to recognize our spring competitive music and athletic recognitions. So Dustin Gehring, our Director of Student Services, is going to facilitate that part of the presentation.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to our board for an opportunity to celebrate our student athletes and our musicians as well. A little bit different format. If you've done this before, we're going to change up just a little bit. We are still going to bring up by group, and then we'll have you come down and stand in front of the board as we get through the whole school. When that school is released, we'll circle back, shake hands, and then that school is welcomed out into the atrium for a picture. We want to grab a picture while we can. We know June is a crazy, crazy time, so we know that some of you need to be able to get to your next function. And so as each group goes out, Ms. Creasy will be there to take a picture in the atrium, and you're welcome to come back in. We encourage it even, love to have you back. But that way everyone can get to their functions and do what they need to do, and we can get those pictures for Facebook. All right, first up, we'll have Colerain High School. Come on up. Mr. Stoynoff and Ms. Davis are going to present their awards. We'll have all of our Colerain High School participants, all the athletes and musicians, come on over and step right over here to my left. Come on over. Looking for you now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gehring. Thank you to the board for having us here tonight to recognize our spring athletics and music. Up first will be Mr. Page, and he will hit us off with some of our spring music.
Thank you very much. My name is Jacob Page. I'm the band director over at Colerain High School. It's my lovely pleasure to stand here with you tonight. We're recognizing 36 members of our Wind Symphony at Colerain High School. These ladies and gentlemen went through the process of Ohio Music Education's large group contest. They went at a district level and received straight ones, and I'll explain what that means in just a little bit, and then went on to the state level and received a 1 at state. The ranking of OMEA, you see 4 judges a night, so 3 would be scattered throughout the audience as we perform on stage. And then my favorite is we get to go to a separate room and perform a piece we've never seen before, and the kids have 5 minutes to look at it, 5 minutes to talk with me about it, and then we play it straight through for a judge as well. At our district level, the students receive the highest rating possible, which is all 1s from in the room and in sight reading. and received a 1 overall at state, which has never happened in Colerain High School history. So we're really, really proud of their efforts. The last time we were able to make it to state was 2014. So for us to be able to go this year to state and then also to get a 1 at state and get our highest ranking we could was just an outstanding performance. So unfortunately, a lot of them are not with us this evening. We've only got 3 lovely human beings with us this evening. So I'll recognize those lovely 3. First, Noah Gears. Come on, Noah. Quentin Hart. And Madeline Howard. Thank you very much.
All right, jumping into our athletics. Again, we are honoring a lot of athletes tonight, but only a few could be here with us. So I'll go ahead and read everybody. First team All GMC in softball, Leah Kaiser. Adrian Lewis was our Steve Shuck Sportsmanship Award. Natalie McGuire, first team All GMC softball. Olivia Schaefer was second team All GMC. Olivia Woodson, first team All GMC softball. On to baseball, Dylan Lloyd was first team All GMC. And Carter Sansoni was first team All GMC and our Steve Shuck Sportsmanship Award. Boys tennis, Jackson Burke was our Steve Shuck Sportsmanship Award. And then our next 2, Michael Casagrande and Cade Ott, they had a tremendous season this year. So they placed 5th in the GMC, which is our highest in a long, long time. They broke the school record in doubles wins, which was set in 2004, so 20 years ago. They were first place in Best of the West, and then the Greater Cincinnati Tennis Coaches Association recognized them pretty much as a dynamic duo. So congratulations to both of them, and Mikey is here with us tonight. All right, on the track, Sahi Davis was, he placed 3rd place in the GMC tournament in high jump. Jordan Robinson, he qualified for state this weekend and placed 3rd in the Division I state OHSAA tournament, 3rd place in long jump. And then our last athlete here with us, Summer Swartout. So Summer, I could probably talk for about 30 minutes on everything that she's done, but she was first team All GMC in the 100. She took 2nd in the 200, but then won districts in the 100 and 200. She's a state qualifier. Any award that you could give, this young lady has gotten. So she was our La Rosa's Athlete of the Year. This weekend at state, she took 4th place in the 100 and 200 in the Division I state championship. So congratulations to Summer. Quick story about Summer. We were at districts, and she just won the 100 and 200. So most athletes want to celebrate, kind of clap, pound their chest, do this and the other, go straight to the podium. Summer goes straight to everyone that she beat to give them a hug, to congratulate them, and let them know that she's going to represent everyone at state. So just the type of athlete that she is, puts others in front of her. So we will miss her, and congratulations.
All right, we're going to make that shift we talked about. So those folks from Colerain High School, if you want to step out into the atrium for your pictures, parents, you're welcome to join them if that's your exit as well. But you're also welcome to come back in as well. While we're making that shift, if we can have all of our athletes and musicians from Northwest High School meet me over here on the left. All of our athletes and musicians from Northwest High School right over here on my left. to welcome Mr. Johnson, our athletic director here at Northwest High School.
All right, appreciate you parents coming out tonight. I also want to give a thank you to the parents that worked with us. We had a really busy spring in regards to rescheduling and had a lot of rain. So I know it was a little difficult as far as the adjustments and the communications, but I appreciate y'all working with us. So we're going to start with our baseball team, and I'm going to introduce our baseball coach, Coach Jason Wostenholm, to introduce our players for this year.
All right, as Mr. Johnson said, I'm Jason Wostenholm. This is my second year as the head baseball coach here at Northwest High School. We made a lot of improvements and strides this year, and by doing so, we did a few things that have never been done here since the SWAC was invented in 2012. For the first off, I'll just go down and see who we got. The first player we got here, I can't talk long about this guy because I get a little choked up and I'm going to miss the dude. But Caleb Jones was our sportsmanship award winner for the conference. It's his second year winning this. He's been a varsity baseball player for the last 3 years, and I've had him with varsity football for 4 years. So I've been around this guy a while, and I'm going to miss this dude, man. The next player I'll introduce was a senior this year. He was a captain the last 2 years of the baseball team. The improvement he's made, not only as a baseball player, but as a person, I'm extra proud of that. He finished this season up being second in the conference in runs batted in. He batted like .330, which is his highest he's batted in the 3 years that he's played varsity baseball, which earned him, by the other coaches voting, he was second team all-conference, and that's Landon Bowling. He will also be playing in the East-West All-Star game in a couple weeks. My next player is a freshman this year. He started every game as a freshman, started a couple as a pitcher, played a little bit of right field when we needed him to, but for the most part played shortstop the whole season as a freshman, had a .990 fielding percentage with only 2 errors all season long. He also batted over .340 as a freshman and finished third in the conference in runs batted in with 21, earning him voting by the conference coaches as a first-team all-conference player this year as a freshman, and that's Braden Weiscarver. And then last but not least, this is last year I had a player who received votes from the other coaches when it came to Conference Player of the Year, but he got beat out by a vote of 4-2 by a kid from Edgewood who was deserving. So, but this is the first time, like I said, since 2012, when the Southwest Ohio Conference was started, that Northwest Baseball has ever had a Conference Player of the Year. He batted .512 this year. He drove in 17 out of the leadoff spot. He stole 27 bases. He had 11 doubles, and he also was asked to pitch in every big game that we had. And I know his record was only 2-4, but his ERA was around 3, which in high school baseball is extremely impressive. So with a unanimous vote of 3-0, this year's Southwest Ohio Conference Player of the Year for baseball was Ryan Fry.
Next up will be softball, and I'd like to introduce to you our softball coach, Miss Ebony Schufer.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like Coach Johnson said, my name's Ebony Shuford. I've been coaching softball 2 years here at Northwest. Last year I was an assistant. This is my first year as a head coach. Just getting it started. So there's 4 girls that made second team all conference for softball. 3 of the girls I'm really gonna miss. They did a heck of a season this year. One girl I get the honor to coach 1 more year. She's a junior, so she'll be leaving out next season. Start off, Isabella Deathridge. Isabella couldn't be in attendance today. She's at camp. Second person is Anna Flantole. And I also couldn't be here. Next up is Kiera Flynn. And last for second team all conference is Riley Cole. So next we're gonna do our honorable mention for all conference. This is another girl I get an opportunity to coach for 1 more year, which I'm very excited, is Addison Freeland. And lastly, we have Conference Sportsmanship Award. She is a sophomore, so I get to coach her for 2 more years, which I'm very excited about. This girl right here, always high spirits, always willing to learn, Kendall Ellison. Thank you.
Okay, next up we're going to introduce is tennis. It's coached by Coach Noel. This actually happened to fall on his vacation week, so I'll do the pleasure here. I'd like to recognize Leon Chapman. He plays, okay, go ahead. He plays second in the conference in singles, and he probably had the toughest matchup going against everybody's ace, and he fared very well. Competed at a high level. We was able to hold a conference here, and I appreciate the way you represent us. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Also, I just want to mention these individuals that also received conference honors in tennis, even though they're not here. Is Torian Foster, honorable mention all conference. Anthony Michin, Conference Sportsmanship Award. David Shelley, honorable mention all conference as well. So we'd like to thank those individuals. And next up is our track coach, Mr. Samuel Fowler.
Good evening. My name is Coach Sam Fowler, proud Northwest alum, 2010. I always like to throw that out there. Good side. It's my first year coaching here at Northwest. As a head coach, coached here before with Coach Spence some years ago. I'm excited. We had a great season. Young team. That's always promising as a coach when you have a young team. A lot of the names you'll hear today, all of them are coming back but 3. So that makes me feel good as a coach. Like I said, great season. You're going to hear some great things about some of these young men and young ladies, so I'll get right into it. I'll start with the Conference Sportsmanship Award, and that goes to the young lady named Dorcas. Dorcas did a lot for us this year. She threw for us, she ran for us, she was on some relays, did whatever we asked on our staff. Very much deserving for the Sportsmanship Award, so congratulations. Honorable mention all conference, Afrande. She's not here. Another great young lady, excited to have her back next year. I'll jump into second team conference. We have Grace Johnson, second team all conference in the 4x2. Excited to see her come back. Good job. Next up, we have Kyla. Second team all conference, 4x1 and 4x2. Don't let the size fool you. This young lady is fierce. Next up, we have Alexandria, second team all conference, 4x1, 4x2. Damaya, second team all conference, 4x1, 4x2. Edward Walker, EJ, second team all conference, discus. The next names you'll hear are our second team all conference, 4x4. We have Chase Moreno, Marion Stearns, Makai Jordan, Keelan Kane, next up, we have David Cuello, second team all conference in the 300 hurdles. And he was actually our replacement on the 4x4. Next up, we have our first team all conference awards. First up, we have Michaela Jordan, first team all conference 300 hurdles. I've never seen, if you know anything about track, it is not heard of to drop 2 seconds off your time in a matter of a week. This young lady dropped 2 seconds off her time and got into districts, made it to districts finals, and actually made it to regionals. Very proud of her, promising future. Can't wait to see her continue to hurdle for us. So shout out to Michaela. Next up, we have our 4x1, Deshaun Wynn, not here. First team all conference. Deshaun Rushing, first team all conference, 4x1. Jalen Lilly, first team all conference, 4x1. Next up, we have Deion Weaver, first team all conference in the 100, first team all conference in the 4x1. This young man's a freshman. And he's have a promising future. I've never seen someone at the high school level in the 4x1 literally walk a team down. He dropped so many seconds off his times when he came in. When he came in, he never ran the open one. He was always on the relays. I think he said his fastest 100 time was a 12-something. Young man came out as a freshman, ran an 11.12, which is pretty fast for a freshman, so I'm excited to see him hit the weight room and get a little faster. So shout out to Deion. Last but certainly not least, Deasia Cotton. So Deasia received second team all conference in the high jump, but she also went on to districts. She went on to regionals, and she placed fourth at state in the high jump. Deasia is actually our indoor track and field state champion, and she has a promising future. This young lady honestly can probably do any event in track. I try to convince her all the time to run the 400. I'm probably going to convince her next year, hopefully. But honestly, I have college coaches asking me all the time, like, what can't she do? And I tell them she can do it all. She want to focus on the high jump, and obviously the hard work pays off. She puts in the work, so congratulations to her.
Yeah, I'll give it to you when we get outside. Okay, we about to walk out right now. So we got.
All right, we're going to make that transition once again. All of our Northwest athletes are going to head out to the atrium. Family, you're welcome to join them out there, and that could also be your exit if you like. You're also welcome to come right back up. To my left, we can have Corrigan Middle School. I know we had a couple athletes that we were honoring today. My Corrigan Middle School athletes to my left, if you could get landed. least we got one. Wait, let this, okay. Let's say both names. Say both names. You can say both names, even though they're not
Yeah.
here. Yeah, okay.
Well, no, there's just the one.
Oh, I thought you had 2 awards. 2 awards.
No,
3
they're all
awards.
for the
one
same.
game. Very good. All right, I'd like to welcome David Meadows, Assistant Principal, Corning Middle School.
Thank you. This evening, we only have one student or one athlete that we're going to recognize, and you're going to see why here in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Avery Bolden down here, and then I'm going to give her certificates, and then we're just going to show her all the love down here. I'm going to read some things about you, Avery, here. You're right. Go down there. All right. So Avery, she was our female athlete of the year this year, and she was on our cheerleading team our 7th and 8th grade year during the football and basketball season. She's a tremendous track athlete. She is back-to-back long jump champion and state qualifier, as well as winning the high jump and finishing second in the 200 in our GMC meet. Not only did she qualify for the state meet in 3 events, she's our middle school high jump state champion. All right. This young lady will compete with the best, and she will win, and she will be missed, and we cannot wait to watch her grow over the next 4 years. Congratulations to Avery. Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead with that transition. Once again, we'll have our PRMS, Pleasant Run Middle School athletes, have you shift over to my left. Any of our Pleasant Run Middle School athletes, come on over to my left. You want both? Okay. All right, we're going to welcome Ms. Driesbach, principal at Pleasant Run Middle School, to help Mr. Horde, our athletic director here at Pleasant Run Middle School. Let's welcome them as well.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank all the parents, the family members, of course, the school board, and friends for showing up tonight for this unbelievable night to show the kids how proud we are of them. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Miss Allison Driesbach, Pleasant Run Middle School's principal.
Well, I can't do anything without my glasses. All right, so we do have several of our student athletes that are here tonight. So if I call your name and come up here to get your certificate, there are a few that aren't here. We're still going to announce their names and their wonderful accomplishments for this evening. So these athletes are all of our fine young track athletes this year. And I'd first like to recognize Camden Adams. Camden Adams spoke as second place in the shot put for a throw of 37 feet, 0.3 inches. Tremendous. And then we have Halima Ba, who's the SWAC second place shot put, 28 feet, 0.5 inches. Then we have Alexis Bonales Gonzalez. She was second place in the SWAC 4x800 relay. We have Clavon Carter. Come on down, Clavon. He was champion in the discus at 98 feet, 1 inches. We also have Riley Cotton. Come on down, Riley. She was our middle school state meet high jump champion for 8th place at 5 foot. She also was our SWAC champion for the 200-meter hurdles for 34 seconds and our SWAC champion high jump at 5 foot, and also our SWAC 4x400 relay, second place winner with a 4-minute and 48-second time finished. I said she was the middle school state meet high jump 8th place champion. At an amazing 5 foot. She can jump me, basically. All right, next we have Marie Delagog. She was our SWAC champion 200-meter dash winner. Come on down, Maria. At 29 seconds. We also have Maria as our SWAC 4x200 relay at 1 minute 58 seconds. And Maria was also the 4x100 relay champion at 55.42 seconds. Congratulations, Maria. Then we have Akira Flowers. Akira Flowers was the SWAC second place long jump at 13 feet 4 inches. Next we have Dylan Grant. Come on down, Dylan. He was a 3-time SWAC champion, placing second place in the 100-meter dash at 12 seconds. He also was our second place 4x200 relay winner and also the champion's 4x100 relay winner. Congratulations, Dylan. We have DJ Jones, who was our SWAC second place 4x200 relay. We have, Araya Matthews, she's on up there. Come on down, Araya. She was our SWAC champion 100-meter dash at 14 seconds. She's fast. Then we have Giselle Robinson. Giselle was the SWAC champion 4x200 relay. Next we have A.R. Roseman, who was the SWAC champion 200-meter dash at 24 seconds. We have Kobe Rucker, who took second place at the SWAC 4x200 relay. We have Kyron Sessions. Come on down, Kyron. He was our SWAC champion 200-meter hurdles with a time of 29 seconds. Well done, Kyron. Next we have Lila Taylor. She's our SWAC second place 200-meter dash with a time of 30 seconds. We also have Tristan Turner, who was our SWAC second place 4x800 relay. We have Jaden Waits. Come on down. He was our SWAC second place 4x800 relay. We have Isaiah Wallace, who was also a SWAC champion high jump at 5 foot. He also took the SWAC champion long jump at 16 feet 10 inches. Next we have Christian Morton, who was the SWAC 400 dash winner. And Ayana York, who was a SWAC second place 4x400 relay winner with 4 minutes and 48 seconds. We have one more up there. Gavin Cripps. Come on down, Gavin. Oh, wait, hold on. I had to read this. He was our track SWAC second place 4x800 relay with 12 seconds, 0.20 split. All right, those are all of our wonderful track athletes today that we'd like to recognize for all their accomplishments. We're very proud of you. Good job. Another round of applause for our track athletes.
Good job.
Can't see it.
Go down, I don't know, if you want to go down there, or you just want to do the shake the board or be done.
All right, we'll make that transition one more time. Our athletes are going to head into the atrium. Families are welcome to join them, and you're also welcome to come back in if you'd like. While we're making that move, let's go ahead and have White Oak Middle School make your way over to my left. Anyone here from White Oak Middle School? All right, we're going to welcome Mr. Roy and Ms. Grody to start off here with White Oak Middle School. Let's give them a round of applause.
All right, thank you. So our first, our sports award, we want to recognize Jada Juara for a multitude of accomplishments, which include but are not limited to at the Hopewell Invitational, first in the 200-meter hurdles and second in 100-meter hurdles. At the GMC Championships, she came in first place for the 100 and 200-meter hurdles. For the, she was a state qualifier for the 2024 Ohio Middle School State Championship. Additionally, for 100 and 200-meter hurdles, she was 9th in the 50 best Ohio students in the 100 meters. She's ranked 6th in the 50 best Ohio middle schoolers and the 200 meter, and she was our Archie Griffin Award winner as well.
Hello, my name is Kristen Grody, and I am the principal at White Oak Middle School, and I have the honor of recognizing all of our music award winners. This year at White Oak was a banner year for music. We have record numbers of students who are engaging in both band and orchestra, and have incredible retention rates heading into next year, so we're super excited about that. We had a huge number of students who had either a superior or excellent rating at the OMEA Solo and Ensemble Contest. So I will start with our students who received those ratings from band. First up is Marissa Aarons with a superior rating. Congratulations. Zach Benjamin with an excellent rating. Matthew Henson with a superior rating. Luke Hurst, superior rating. Marquise Ingram, superior rating. It's Marcus, isn't it? It's Marcus. I knew it was Marcus as soon as I said it. Also, Marcus Ingram. Caden Inman, a superior rating. Not here, but Stephen Lackey, superior rating. Kira Manetri, excellent rating. Andrew Mikes, superior rating. Lisa Asage, superior rating. How do you say it?
It's awesome.
Awesome. Lisa Osage, superior rating. Next up we have Savannah Russell, excellent rating. Charlie Schroyer, superior rating. And two more names of students who are not here. Evelyn Stein also earned a superior rating, and Robert Wagner an excellent rating. Those are all of our band honorees. And they are not here, but we want to give a shout out to our two students from orchestra who also earned excellent or superior ratings at the OMEA Solo and Ensemble Contest. Those are Peyton Harry and Olivia Pegram for orchestra. Congratulations. We are so proud of all of our students, athletes, and orchestra and band members. Thank you so much.
We'll make that transition one more time. Welcome our White Oak participants and family out to the atrium. Again, go on out there, grab your picture. You're welcome to come back in for more presentations, but it could also be your exit if you'd like.
All right, next up, we would like to welcome Pleasant Run Middle School Principal Allison Driesbach and teacher Gabe Warner, who are going to introduce some students who took a trip to Washington, D.C. and talk through some of their experience with that. Is it you again?
All right, so unfortunately, Mr. Warner at the last minute was not able to attend this evening. He was hoping to get here on time, but he did get held up out in Westchester, and so he did send me a few notes. The pictures up there, if you just want to hit play, they just kind of play through so you can see the different events that the students attended. So while that plays, just to kind of let you know a few of the highlights. We did have a few students who were going to come join us this evening and also were not able to attend. The two that were still here for the sports decided that this might be a little bit too intimidating for them, and so they decided not to share some of their stories. But as you see the slideshow and the pictures kind of stroll through, some of the highlights of this trip that they got to take over spring break is all the students got to see the changing of the guard ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown. They learned how to load a cannon at Gettysburg, and they also got to tour the Capitol building, which was the first time it had been open since they started going on this trip about 4 years ago. It's a trip that our 8th grade students are able to attend. They do have to fund it themselves, but we start promoting it as early as 7th grade to get as big as largest group as we possibly can. And I know Mr. Warner enjoys going each and every year. He has a couple different teachers that attend with him. But the kids come back and they're very excited. They tell everybody about the time that they had out there and they really enjoy the experience. So it's a wonderful opportunity that we're able to provide and have some of our students attend as 8th graders. We're going to hopefully continue that tradition as we move forward next year and the year after, as long as Mr. Warner is willing to continue to take a group, as so far he is. So it's a great trip, and I know that Mr. Warner was upset he wasn't able to make it, and I know the students that we're going to talk were excited to share about it, but just got a little bit intimidated at the last minute. So that's our trip to Washington.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, so we do have another student presentation tonight. So Mr. Richmond is here to introduce a student ambassadors program that they have at Montford Heights. So we're excited for him to share.
Good evening. I'm Trey Richmond, principal at Montford Heights. I appreciate the board giving us an opportunity to speak with you and represent two of our fantastic students here and kind of show you what they do. Something we do for our 5th graders, obviously the leaders of our building, and so there's special clubs that they're able to be a part of. And Leslie Tway, who's our counselor, is one who does a ton for our building and does a lot of those leadership responsibilities and guides not just our 5th graders, but all of our students. So a lot of what goes unnoticed is because of what she and Sarah Hayes did this past year. She's phenomenal, and it represents everything that we're about. But I'm going to turn it over to her, and then she will turn over to special students from Montford Heights.
Hello, I'm Leslie Twayuse. I'm one of the counselors at Montford Heights, and I'm here to introduce two of my favorite, well, they're now going to be 6th graders, but they were 5th graders this last year. And they were mentors, and they were also ambassadors for our building, and they are going to really lead this presentation. They kind of came up with the whole presentation. I helped them, but they have developed all of this, came up with the ideas, so I'm going to let them take over, and they are ready, and they are awesome, so please give them the attention they deserve. Here, you can put your paper here. Let me move this.
Hi, my name is Ava King, and I was a former 5th grader of Montford Heights Elementary.
Hi, my name is Ava Crawford, and I used to be a 5th grader at MHE.
Is there a clicker?
Yeah.
Is it this one? Press this. Okay. Oh, perfect.
Mentors is for 5th grade students who have a passion for helping others. They get to help in a younger classroom 1 day a week for 20 minutes, and 54 students were mentors this school year. Here's a picture of all the mentors. Yeah.
How to become a mentor. You have to fill out an application, answer questions about why you want to be a mentor, list 2 references, 1 MHE staff member, 1 from outside of school. Interview with Ms. Twahys, attend an orientation, sign a contract, be assigned to a classroom, and fall or spring mentor.
How does it help younger students? It helps younger students with their work, helps read with them, helps them sound out words, and helps them with their math facts.
How does it help with the teachers? Mentors help with whatever the teacher needs.
How does it help 5th graders? It helps 5th graders meet new students in other grades. It teaches us how to interact with other students. Responsibility, we have to keep track of the day and our time cards. Time management, interacting skills, how to be outgoing and friendly, and it builds relationships in our school. And we have lots of fun doing it.
One ambassador chosen by teachers from each 5th grade team, give tours to new students, teach new students the Musketeer mission, take care of myself, take care of each other, and take care of MHE.
Is there any questions you might have?
Do you have any questions?
No, you're supposed to say the answer. You're supposed to say this one. Okay, fine.
Answer any questions they have.
Sorry.
Good job.
MHE ambassadors help new students feel welcomed and comfortable in a new school. It builds relationships and it makes people a family as a community. There, you're saying this.
Thank you for paying attention to our presentation. Any questions? Probably meeting a bunch of new kids and knowing kids from each grades.
Ava Crawford, do you want to share your favorite?
And I also liked seeing the kindergartners. They're really fun.
Are there any other questions? I just want to say these 2 girls are phenomenal. The ambassador program is something we started this year. Ms. Twahys came up with it. When new students enroll, we'd always take them around, show them the building. These 2 young ladies, I think one time you may have followed, and then they kind of were on their own and just took them around between 8:15 and 8:30, and quite a few kids got an experience from them, which firsthand, instead of us. So, ladies, thank you very much. They're awesome. Appreciate you as well.
Yep.
Thank you. Come out here, we'll shake hands. Makes it easy for me. Thanks, Darcy. That was great.
Thank you. Sorry, I would shake your hand.
You're fine.
Great way to start my summer.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies. You did a great job. All right, so we have one more presentation for this evening. This is talking about our District 1 plan. So first, what is a 1 plan? Every 3 years, the district submits to the state of Ohio a 3-year continuous improvement plan. This was the year that we were to submit a new plan to the state. So we'll go through kind of our engagement process of how we came up with the plan and what those goals are for the district for the next 3 years. What's important as we continue to talk about one plan and one vision for the district is that we continue to reinforce that we are one team, and that the more we can get everyone focused in a single direction, the more we can have people really aligning their arrows in the same direction, the faster the district will move to achieve those goals. And so we've been very intentional with the last couple of years, as well as moving into how we onboard this plan and how we continue to realign all of our resources to that one team, one plan model. Part of that is our continuous improvement model. We have district leadership teams that have people from district building and departments that really meet to really look at large scale data and look at where we're going. We connect with our building leadership teams to make sure that our buildings are represented in that, and our teacher-based teams. So really talking from student level all the way up to district level, from student-specific information to aggregate level at the highest possible level of data. So this continuous improvement works up and down, where we have to continue to build those systems to make sure that our families and our students are engaged with our goals. Our systems are aligned to measure the right data and to continue to move us forward as a district. So we have this two-way communication that we have been really enhancing and building systems around this data system for a while. So this will really help facilitate the one plan. When we talk about the one plan, this was built with an engagement model. So Jenny Blust is going to talk about the engagement we went through to actually build the plan.
Thank you. As Daryl said, we went through a process this year to develop our one plan. The district develops a one plan, but each of the buildings also has an individual building plan with their individual goals also. Tonight we're just presenting our district plan. So our plan starts with a needs assessment. And a needs assessment is not a piece of paper that everybody fills out or a survey. It's a comprehensive process that we went through for probably a good 2 to 3 months. If you went to a person and said, did you do the needs assessment, they might say, I don't remember doing the needs assessment. It's because we took questions from the needs assessment and we took them to all different groups in our district. We used multiple sources of data to determine what our needs were. We used things like our Hanover survey. We used things like individual surveys with parents. We had BLTs that participated in questions that they might have been talked through, PTA boards. We have a superintendent's parent advisory board that meets with the superintendent that talked through some of the questions. We have a teacher team. It's a superintendent's team that talked through some of the questions. Our district leadership team that encompasses leaders from all over our district, from every department. We actually had work sessions with the board where we listened and used some of that data and information from our work sessions with the board to say these are some of our needs in the district. So this was a comprehensive list of questions that really got our teams thinking about what the needs were. We looked at a bunch of different data and inputted a bunch of data into those questions. From there, we looked at the different areas and we did some root cause analysis and tried to determine what specific root cause, if addressed, would help us to show improvement in the specific areas. Areas like curriculum, instruction, attendance, behavior, discipline, all areas of our operations, transportation, food services, all those things were encompassed in a needs assessment. Once we did the root cause analysis, we took the results of our root cause analysis in every one of those areas to our district leadership team. At that meeting, we had our district leadership team prioritize those needs. What are the most important things facing our district right now, areas that we needed to improve upon? From that list, we selected the top 3. Those top 3 areas, those top 3 needs in the district were put to a goal development process. And we developed 3 very, very specific measurable goals for our district. From there, each one of those goals has strategies that we've identified, and not just pulled out of a hat. These are research-based strategies that we've identified that we're going to use to address, those goals. The next step is identifying adult measures and monitoring those. Okay? And I think about it like a weight loss plan. So if you have a 3-year weight loss plan, you're going to lose 50 pounds in 3 years. You don't start on day 1 and then 3 years later get on the scale and say, did I lose 50 pounds? You measure along the way. All right? And so we set those benchmarks for what we were going to try to achieve along the way so that we can measure whether or not we're meeting our goals. Right? So we have adult measures. So what are the adults going to be doing? And then we're looking at student measures for each one of those goals. And most importantly, on both of those, monitoring. Not only will we be monitoring those and reporting that data to the state, as part of this new process that we have, the 3-year one plan, but we're going to be monitoring along the way for our district as well. From there, we take it down a level and we create action steps. Okay? And we actually will probably even get farther into like tasks for each of those actions. But in the plan, it stops at the action step level. And the final step in the plan is to link our resources and funding with our action steps. So if we have actions, we have goals, we have strategies, what sources are we going to use to fund those steps? I really like the one plan because it gives us a direction, it gives us monitoring, it gives us measurements to see if we're doing what we need to do to make improvement. But also, if we get funds through a grant, through either a federal or a state grant, it's nice to be able to just go right back to the one plan and say, what are our priorities, what are our goals, where do we need money to fund those goals? You know, where are we lacking that we can put that money? So it helps us to point all the arrows in the same direction for improvement. So, am I going to share those 3 goals? Sure. Okay. All right. So we have 3 distinct goals, and this is a 3-year goal. This is just kind of an overview, and then we're going to dig in with you to each one of those goals to specifically what we are aiming to do. The first is to reduce chronic absenteeism. All right. The state defines chronic absenteeism as missing 10% of the school year. Right? So we need to reduce that in our district. If kids come to school, we can teach them. Right? The second is to implement effective Tier 1 behavior supports. And the third is to utilize a model of instruction to increase our student achievement. Right? That is the overview of the 3 district goals, but they are, what we've set are very measurable, and we have some people here to share what those measurable goals are.
Good evening. So our first goal is around chronic absenteeism. Jenna gave a brief explanation. That is students who are missing 10% or more of their opportunity to come to school. And so that's measured in hours. And we have an obligation, if we want to increase student achievement, which we do, we have an obligation to make sure that students are coming to school. And so this is an issue across the nation, but also across the state of Ohio. And so it rose up in that process of priority selection as a very high priority for us for lots of reasons. So the actual goal that we set is that we will decrease chronic absenteeism by 15 percentage points as measured through the gap closing measure on the local report card. So you might not think of chronic absenteeism as falling in gap closing, but that's actually where it lives. And so we want to, in 3 years' time, decrease by 15 percentage points from where we are right now. Sorry, I got a little speedy there. So this is a quick table showing kind of where we were last year. We were at 36.5% of our students that met the thresholds for chronic absenteeism. And those thresholds are defined in 2 categories. There are students who have severe absenteeism, which means their attendance rate is below 80%. And then there are students who are in a category right above that they have an absenteeism rate between 80 and 89.9. So we want to make sure students have the attendance rates that are over 95%, which is where we need them to be in order to make sure they're maximally able to achieve. So you can see that right now our preliminary data is showing us down by 3 percentage points, just about. That isn't final yet, but you can also see there that the state targets are listed. I think it's important to note that the state right now for this year is showing a 25.5% chronic absenteeism rate, even though the goal is 18.3 for this year. So our goal by setting this 15% reduction over 3 years' time and 5% each year is to make sure that we are closing the gap between the state and where we are currently. Prior to the pandemic in that full school year of 2018-19, we were at 18.4%. So this plan makes us make sure that we get back to that point, and then each year the state target continues to decrease through 2031 to get us down to 5%. And so we want to make sure that we're continuing to close the gap between where we are in Northwest and where the state wants us to be with those targets. We think that chronic absenteeism is a worthy cause to address, and it's going to take our whole community This is, the action steps here aren't just living in the enrollment office or curriculum or any of the departments. It's actually going to be something that we're attacking with our families through communication and lots of different action steps to make sure that we do in fact improve this target.
Thank you. We'll keep it over. Okay. Well, good evening. Looking at goal 2, before we even get into that, I want to make mention, we have incredible teachers at Northwest Local. We absolutely do. And as someone who has 5 kids, 2 of which have come through and 3 still coming through, we choose Northwest every single day because of our staff. This goal does not reflect anything around any type of distraction from that. Our teachers are incredible. But the reality is some of our teachers need some help. And so they need some help with what's happening in the classroom. And so we created a goal around where we think our next frontier is. We spent the last year looking at structures and supports and hallways, cafeterias, arrivals, dismissals, and really front-loading those with a lot of supervision and plans to make those better. And we've seen incredible results from doing that focus. The next frontier for us is the classroom space. But that is not reflective of anything in the fact that our teachers are asking for some help. And so we're going to look to build into them to do their best work. And so our goal is to increase a rubric score to 4. 4 would be the gold standard of what we want to see in a classroom. And if you were to ask, like, what types of things, we'll get to that in just a second, but the types of things we're looking for in that gold standard classroom environment is what we're shooting for here in the next 3 years, that 100% of our classrooms, so every classroom, every day, every moment, is reflective of this great atmosphere or environment that we're shooting for with this score of a 4. And we'll do this by having early and often measurements of how things are going. So we can give feedback to our staff to say, here's an idea here, or have you tried this? And so lots of hands on deck to give that feedback. And so we're looking for that score to increase to 4. When it comes to the data itself, just so you know we can make a significant impact here, it is not a surprise that the majority of our referrals come out of the classroom because that's where the students are most of the day. So this does not reflect some kind of crisis. It reflects what's common sense. It just makes sense. That's where your referrals are going to come from. But it does reflect if we make significant changes, we could really have an impact on keeping kids in classrooms where the learning is. And so that work right there could really take a drastic effect. If you look at 60% of our referrals coming out of classroom environments right now, which makes perfect sense because that's where the kids are. But at the same time, what a great place to make an impact. If you could cut that in half or in a third, it really will make an impact. And we're going to do that by looking at strategies for the classroom to help build into those environments so we know that we're chasing the right stuff. And we also know that when we focus on something, we do see significant changes. We've seen incredible changes in hallways, cafeterias, restrooms, playground. We've seen incredible changes already this past year by having a heavy focus on that. So what types of things are we looking for? None of this is out of the realm for our teachers. They know these concepts, but we're looking for routines, procedures, and transitions. There's great ways to do things, and there's other ways that will get you different outcomes. We're looking at classroom climate and relationships. That shouldn't be a surprise to you. We've talked a lot about the importance of relationships between the teacher and the students. And then, of course, student-centered learning. Looking at authentic engagement because that's where the best learning is happening. And we don't see referrals coming out of classrooms that are highly engaged. You just don't see it that way. And so we're looking to really build into those environments by doing that work and really focusing in on what that looks like. And so for goal 3, I'm going to turn it back over to Brenda, who's going to take a look at instruction.
So both of those first goals are really going to help us improve student achievement. Addressing student attendance, addressing student behavior. Those are critical to us seeing the student achievement gains that we want to see. So with instruction, our actual goal, big picture, is that we want to be a 4-star district when it comes to that overall district rating. We believe we can get there in 3 years' time, and the one plan that's been designed both at the district and building levels is designed to make sure we stay on track to do that. So by the end of the 26-27 school year, that's where we want to be with that overall rating on our report card. We looked at this in the fall, but just to review really quickly, so that overall rating, we get anywhere from 1 to 5 stars, and they do give half-star ratings now for the overall rating. This past year, our school district was at 3 stars, and so you can see that 3 stars means meeting state expectations, but that's not where we want to stop. In the fall, we talked about wanting to get rid of all of our 2-star ratings on the report card for the district and for the buildings. And so on the path to doing that, we also want to, in 3 years' time, make sure that we move up to exceeding state standards. Just as another reminder, that overall district rating, which is where we're shooting for that 4-star in 3 years' time, is made up of these 5 measures. You can see that achievement and progress are weighted much more heavily than the other parts of the report card. Achievement, progress, and early literacy were areas where we had 2s on our report card. And so we are going to, with this particular part of our plan, we are going to really chase after that achievement piece, which is addressing our performance index. And so we have set goals there that we are working toward as far as monitoring and reporting progress. We also have some pretty aggressive goals to attack early literacy as well. Just like Dustin shared with Classroom Environment, we are working on developing a model of instruction growth framework. And so this is not a separate framework, this is a single framework that includes Classroom Environment. We believe those pieces have to go together. And so the first 3 that you see there are in that realm of instruction. What we believe is that it's very important for us to be really explicit and clear about what we think good instruction looks like. And so we're defining that through our framework. Right now we have teachers who came and joined us teacher leaders who joined us on Friday to take a look at a draft of that, and they're giving us feedback. We also will be spending some time with our administrators in retreat tomorrow, our building administrators taking a look at that. This is, again, nothing that's new. This is a continuation of the work that we've been doing. The entire framework on the instruction side and the classroom environment side is fully aligned with our Ohio Teacher Evaluation System. It is not something that is outlandish or we made up. It's very much the work we need to be doing. And so when we see teachers who are not scoring at that 4 level on the framework for each of these components, our job is to wrap support around them, to make sure that all students in our district have a consistent, high-quality experience in the classroom. So that's how we're going to work through the one plan to improve both our instruction, our attendance, and our classroom environments. That's what we have for the one plan today. Are there any questions?
One of the things before we get to questions
Yep.
is the state requires that we also report data back to them every semester. So one of the things that the board and the community can expect is that as we roll into next year with our data around the one plan, we will be explicit around where we are. And every semester, we will be reporting to the state and back to the board with where we are in our progress on all of those goals so that it is completely transparent. We'll have dashboards that we will build that will be public facing, so our community will know where we are as well. Because we have to wrap everybody into this conversation, because changing the trajectory of attendance, behavior, and achievement is everybody on deck. So it is all of our staff, it is all of our parents, and it is our community being laser focused on where we want to go and what we want to achieve, and then holding us accountable to making sure that we are getting there. And so that transparency will be built into what we share on a semester basis with the board and with the community. Now questions. So the question was how quickly we're going to be sharing data. So one of the things that the plans. So one of the things that we'll be sharing in the fall is every building, in order for us to get where we want to go, the district is basically a summation of every building. And so their chronic absenteeism rates by building are very different. So their strategies and goals are going to be different at Colerain High School than they are going to be at Montford Heights. And so as we get into the fall, the state data will be more finalized. We have some preliminary data from the state, but it hasn't been cleaned up yet. So as we get closer to the fall, we'll be able to say what our baseline is and the buildings will be able to communicate specifically for them what they're doing and what their goals are, and we'll communicate from a district level what we are looking at from a larger system perspective. But that'll be coming out when school starts in August.
I have a question. Isn't there something being done now for the chronic absence? I mean, each school.
So right now, we follow House Bill 410 for chronic absenteeism. And that basically, when you hit certain triggers, families get notification about you've hit this chronic absenteeism rate or excessive absence rate. What our plan is about building early intervention systems so that we are tracking that internally much earlier, and parents are more involved in where their student is before they hit one of those triggers. Because once you hit one, you can't go back. You've already hit that mark. So we need to make sure that we are proactively monitoring and intervening as early and as often as possible. And early intervention is one of our major strategies for the chronic absenteeism goal. So there will be a lot more coming. Like Brenda said, we met on Friday with teachers from every building, with the building administrative teams, to really start talking about the one plan and how their building fits into that. And then they are taking the rest of summer when they meet to really operationalize what that means for their building so they can meet their goals. And then we're doing that at the system level so we can monitor the buildings and have very consistent data monitoring for the one plan moving forward and frequent updates to the community and the board.
Does it follow, is it the same three, it's just
Yes.
defined differently based on that?
Once the district goals were set, the buildings took those goals and modified them for each building. So every building has the chronic absenteeism, the behavior, and the instruction as their focus so that we can keep all the arrows pointing in one direction. But yes, every building has the same three major goals.
So will this focus on the teachers also having to follow a stricter discipline? So they're all following the same policy, and it's not one in your class, something gets done in your class, and then somebody goes to Mr. Gearing's and does it, but don't get in trouble.
So one of the things that is really important about this, and one of the reasons our behavior goal is set the way it is because of the conversations that we had with our teaching staff and the fact that inconsistencies between classrooms can create a lot of barriers for kids and for staff, because if we don't have consistent expectations from one classroom to another, then it's hard for a kid to regulate from one environment to another when the expectations might be really different. So this really narrows in a common expectation for our environments. It really lays out for our staff very clear expectations around classroom environments and the fact that there should be a clear procedure for how you enter and sit down, an assigned seat, that you should have a procedure for how you get up and get permission to go somewhere. So they're very orderly environments, and that there are clear expectations and clear outcomes on the backside. And so this is really about level setting for all of our classrooms so that those clear expectations, there's a common baseline. And then obviously there can be fluctuations on styles of how you enforce that baseline, but that baseline is going to be consistent from one environment to another. And that should help level set with all of our environments, give all of our teachers on the same page, and help our students as they transition from one classroom to another to have similar expectations in all environments. So we're really looking forward to this, and our teachers have had a strong voice in defining that rubric and what are the things that create those expectations. We've done some back-end work where we've looked at some of our teachers who are getting high achievement, low discipline, and really kind of talking to them specifically about what are you doing, what's working in your classroom, and how do we replicate that? Not that we want every teacher to be cookie cutter and we want everybody to do the same thing and be robots, but there are some certain parameters in Sandbox that if we all follow, that you can still have your individual style, but still build that consistent expectation across the system. So that's where we are with this, and we're excited about moving that forward and changing some of that data. All right, that's it for our presentations. We can come back up here and continue the meeting.
I just want to thank all the coaches, band directors, principals, teachers, everyone that came this evening. Parents, thank you for bringing your kids out, and just congratulations again to those students that we recognize this evening. All right, Nancy, do we have anything else for student achievement?
We have a few things to mention tonight. We'll start off first with academics. And what we'd like to start with first is Northwest Local School District had 72 students who earned the rating of advanced in the science state test for 5th grade science. The students do these tests in 5th grade, 8th grade, and after their high school biology class. A score of 700 is considered proficient. We had 8 students who scored 800 or higher on the grade 5 science spring test. And their names you can see up on the board. And they're from Colerain, Montford Heights, Pleasant Run, and Struble, so across the board. We're very proud of them. They're doing a great job, and we look forward to them being our future scientists and engineers and inventors. So that's just very wonderful what they've been able to do. Next, we'll go to Colerain Elementary. And they would like to recognize this group of students who earned the Presidential Award for Academic Excellence. These are all 5th graders. And with this award, they get a certificate, and then they also get a letter from President Biden that is signed by him acknowledging their achievement. Now, to get this achievement, they have to have a 3.5 grade point average or higher for all 8 quarters of 4th and 5th grade combined, which is pretty amazing. Takes a lot of hard work and determination to do that. So you can see the students up there, but I'll give you their names because I think they should be recognized for this. They are Andy Weissman, Adler Feitz, Adrian Oldham, Joshua Nolan, Zahara Weiland, William Ray, Avery McClary, Layla Love Brooks, Leslie Mejia, Carolyn Thielen, Juliana Sanderson, Lewis Dorman, Eva Copeland, Caden Davidson, Amaya Angelis, Jason Angelo, Preston Russin, Jacob Taphorn, and Sissy Diambera. So congratulations to those students. I'm sure they'll continue to do well. They've got a lot of determination and hard work in them, it sounds like. Next, we'll go on to Struble Elementary. And Struble Elementary would like to recognize the 4th grade students in Miss Hay and Miss Dick Hewson's classroom for their academic performance on their end of the year math and reading assessments. All students in these classrooms scored 100% proficiency or higher. So as we were just talking about 4-star rating, these kids are going to get us there. So that was on there. They scored, as I said, 100% proficient or higher on the Ohio State Student for English Language Arts and Math. So we're very proud of these Blue Jays for their hard work and the teachers who got them there. Next, we want to talk about Transitions Academy. And Transition Academy had a very good year. They had 25 students who graduated. 6 of those graduated as juniors. They had already met all their requirements. We also had the highest graduation rate for the program in its history at 86%. And we had another first, as we had one student who received a full ride athletic scholarship. So that's wonderful for the Transitions Academy, wonderful for the staff that's there. They're definitely helping these kids achieve and go on to their next life. So wonderful for them, and congratulations. Next, we'd like to go to Pleasant Run Middle School, and here's another outstanding student, Jason Chang. He has had a perfect 4.0 grade point average for his entire career at Pleasant Run Middle School. So that's 3 years, 12 quarters, 4.0 every single time. Now that takes a definite amount of hard work, commitment, endurance, dedication, and what an inspiration for all of us. So we want to congratulate Jason on a job well done. Next, we'd like to go to Colerain High School. Colerain High School and Butler Tech had their Business Professions of America National Conference in Chicago from May 10th to the 14th. And we sent some of the teams from the district there. And as you remember, the Business Professions of America, what they do is evaluate the students on their workplace skills in multiple business areas. And we did very well at this convention. In the area of virtual business startup event, our team was competing against 57 other teams, and our team won first in the nation. What an accomplishment, first in the nation for these young ladies. And this team was comprised of Sarah Garvey, Ashley Heibel, Elise Manus, and Madison Meyer. So what a wonderful accomplishment for them. We also had Enyunam Nevis and Sarah Garvey earned the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Industry Recognized Credential by demonstrating their skills and readiness in the workplace. And then we also had another top 10 finish, and this was our administrative support team. And this team consisted of Madison Bratfish, Ashley Heibel, Elise Manus, and Madison Meyer. And you'll see all their pictures up on the screen. And what a wonderful accomplishment. A lot of girl power there. Some great businesswomen going to come out in the future here at high school and college. So congratulations to them. Next, we'd like to go to the fine arts category. And White Oak Middle School would like to recognize 8th grader Brooke Schoenberger. She was named the Artist of the Year at White Oak School. She had excellent skills in all types of media and or all types of artistic media and great creativity. So we want to acknowledge that and congratulate her on that. Next, we want to go to citizenship, and that will be for Houston Early Learning Center. And they would like to recognize their students who have completed preschool and will be moving on to kindergarten next year. They had made some great goals in the areas of self-regulation and social interaction. 85% of the students made proficient progress in demonstrating respect for personal space and feelings of others, and 82% of the students made good or proficient progress in interacting with other children. So great life skills that they'll continue to take with them into kindergarten and years beyond. Skills that some of us all need to remember and be retrained in every once in a while too. Next we have Taylor Elementary. And they want to recognize their 5th grade students who opened the new building with them in 2018 as kindergarten students. They have now graduated on to the next phase of life at middle school, and they just want to congratulate these Tigers on their leadership, commitment, and hard work. They've made a positive impact at Taylor Elementary, and they know they'll continue to make a positive impact at the Northwest School District for years to come. So congratulations to those Tigers. And last but not least, we have community service, and that is for Pleasant Run Elementary, and they would like to recognize the 10 students whose names are up on the board. They volunteered after their lunch period to wipe down chairs and line up chairs so that the cafeteria would be ready for the kindergarten, or I'm sorry, 1st grade end of the school performance, so that the room was ready for the families and the children to perform, and we would just congratulate them on their dedication and help with the school. And that's it for tonight.
All right, thank you. I'd like to give all those students a big round of applause. A lot of awesome things. Thank you. Wonderful. All right. Jim, any Butler Tech updates?
Yeah, just a couple things. Just our 3 building projects are progressing. And then I want to give a second shout out to what Nancy said about the girls at the BPA. That you guys don't realize, if you don't follow that, how big of a deal that is. That, I mean, they're the best in the nation at what they do, and that is just a huge, huge thing for the girls that presented that on the team. So I just wanted to give them another shout out. Other than that, so.
Thank you. Chris, any legislative updates?
Nicole. The first thing is the state passed and the governor signed the cell phone requirement that each school district have a cell phone policy, and we'll get into more detail either later tonight or at our next meeting on proposed plans and thoughts for Northwest. Lots of evidence is proving the negative results from overuse of cell phones in schools. Second thing is there's a lot going on with STRS. It's not necessarily a legislative thing, but there's some new reform members of the STRS board, and a couple of these gentlemen are talking about taking $65 billion from the STRS fund and putting it into the hands of a new company that is 2 gentlemen working out of a condominium, and that just doesn't pass the smell test as far as I'm concerned. People don't realize that teachers and the district both put in 14% of their income. I know that it's a lot more than Social Security, but with Social Security, it's more like 6.5% for the employee and the employer. But anyway, I'm kind of watching that, and there's been a lot of controversy over this plan, and hopefully what's best for STRS will prevail. And that is it.
Okay. Thank you. Any reports from employee organizations?
Not tonight.
And I did not receive any community comments.
All right, so for the consent items tonight, I'll just read through all of the items. For personnel, we have 29 resignations, one that has a revised date. We have 20 change in status, 15 initial appointments, various supplemental items, and there is a RIF resolution that is reducing 2 positions. That is due to a programmatic change at Transitions Academy. Neither one of those positions are resulting in anyone losing their job. They've just been reassigned to other open positions in the district. For business, we have donations from Rumpke to Taylor and PRMS for a monetary donation. We have Dr. Darcy Bradley, who donated items to the care closet at Montford Heights, and New Hope Community Church, who donated supplies to the nurse's office at Montford Heights. We have vendor contracts for prom, special education, nursing service, and some non-public contracts. Under student services, we do have an updated event worker pay sheet for the next school year. And then one thing that's on there are 2 calendar changes for the 24-25 and 25-26 school year. So just to make everyone aware, the adjustments that are on here are adding a late start in each quarter. So there will be 1 late start in each quarter where students will follow a 2-hour delay schedule that gives our staff that extra time to do some additional PD paperwork and some additional tasks that are required. So just so people are aware, they need to check the calendar for the 24-25 and 25-26 school years, because those are added to the calendar. There's 1 per quarter. We also have an overnight trip from Corrigan High School cheerleading to Miami University this summer for a summer camp. With that, the superintendent recommends the board approve the items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Is there any questions or discussion? Passes 4-0. Thank you. Amy?
Good evening. For the fiscal consent items, I ask the board to approve the regular board meeting minutes for May 13th and the special board meeting minutes for May 28th as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Amy? Passes 4-0. Thanks, Amy.
All right, so we do have some approval of a couple of other items. For this, we have our approval of the textbook adoption for AP Stats that was on for information at the last meeting. So the superintendent recommends the board approve the adoption of the advanced statistics materials as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Another textbook adoption that was on last meeting for information. This one is the textbook adoption for AP Psychology. Superintendent recommends the board approve the adoption of the materials as listed.
Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Passes 4-0. Thank you.
The next two items are separate items, but they are related. So we'll talk through each one of them, and then we'll give a more full update during superintendent updates. But the first one is a resolution to award contracts based on an urgent necessity for Colerain Elementary brick delamination. So basically, to remind everyone of what's happening, we have a segment of brick on the wall at Colerain Elementary that has fallen off. And so we have been going through the process with engineers and architects to try to look at how to remediate that. Typically, there is a process that we have to go through for bidding anything over $50,000. This gives us the ability, because of the urgent necessity, to move faster on some of those items so that we can actually continue to do work on the building. So we do have work that is starting tomorrow on trying to clean up some of that area so we can get a better sense of what the next steps are going to be. But as we get into that, it's going to be a rapidly changing and evolving situation, and this gives us the authority to continue to move forward with some of those items as they start to unfold over the next couple of weeks. So the superintendent and the treasurer recommend the board accept the resolution to move forward with necessary repair for Colerain Elementary School facade in order to create a safe working and learning environment for the building occupants and bystanders.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, or you said you were going to give a more detailed update? And
Yes,
then-
we'll talk a little bit more about next steps for that building when we get a little bit farther. This was just to give us the authority to move forward with the work.
Thank you. It passes 4-0.
The next item is an approval of a catastrophic failure building plan. So this is something that we have been working on since last fall when the second bond issue failed by the community and we knew our buildings had significant issues. So we had been working on putting this together. Unfortunately, things happened faster than we anticipated, and so the need to have the plan is pretty imminent. This plan we've also pushed out to the community so they are aware of it, but this actually is an approval of the plan that Amy and I are recommending. This plan basically talks about if we have a failure of a building that is a section of a building, if it is one entire building, or if it is more than one building, how we as a district will be able to continue to operate and educate children with that catastrophic issue. Right now, we are still in the process of figuring out what to do with Colerain Elementary. The resolution that was just passed gives us the ability to continue to move forward with uncovering the scope of the issue so we can make informed decisions about moving forward. So the plan basically says that, with a one building failure, we would have to repurpose our central office location for preschool. We would have to repurpose Houston to fit the school that is not able to be operated anymore, and then demolish that existing school. Right now, we're obviously talking about Colerain Elementary. We don't know that that is going to happen, but we know that if something happens, we have to have a plan. We've been working on this plan, and thankfully it was not something we had to come up with overnight. This has been a plan that has been vetted, thought out, and planned for many months. The other thing that this resolution does is it does allow for the use of funds from the general fund to be able to implement portions of this plan. Because in order for us to move forward with renovating our central office to preschool, it's going to cost money, and we've got to have the authorization to dip into some of those cash reserves in order to implement that plan. So this is something that the treasurer and superintendent recommend the board approve the catastrophic building failure plan as listed. It, again, continues to inform the community of what our options are, but gives us the authority to move forward with the use of those funds in order to implement the plan.
Question, Daryl. It says we'll maintain a cash balance of no less than 2 months. I know Amy's told us this many times, but exactly with our current budget, what is 2 months, Amy?
It's about $14 million.
40 million?
14.
Oh, 14 million. Okay, and where are we now?
We're right at the 3 months, so about 21 million.
21 million, okay. So that basically would free up 7 million.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't free up. It would use one-time dollars that we
Yeah.
probably will never be able to replace.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
a cash balance and reserves are for one-time capital needs as well as downturns in the economy and implementing new priorities.
Okay. Okay, I thought the 2-month reserves was more than 14.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's in between $7 and $8 million per month.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Motion and a second.
So moved.
So for this plan, this is only if the experts deem that, in this example, Corrine Elementary
That
is
it-
deemed no longer fit.
That it cannot be used, or the costs to repair it are so extreme that it's cost prohibitive to do that, and we have to look at closing that up, closing the building because it's cost prohibitive to do the work necessary to make it inhabitable again.
And this is not an effort for our district to try to trick the community into passing a levy. No one threw bricks off of a building, correct?
No, the
Okay.
bricks actually fell off one weekend
Just
overnight. There was
trying to squash
there was
the
no
rumors
active
there.
no active God that did it. There was no lightning strike. There was no car that hit it. Although a car did hit the fencing earlier this week, but it didn't hit the building. So this was literally just the age of the building just collapsing over time. So we can talk after this vote if we want to tie all this together now instead of postponing it to the next segment. That we can, Chris can, and I can kind of give an update of where we are, what our next steps are, and give a little bit more of a broad perspective of Corrine Elementary. I just want to make sure we got these votes through first
Yeah, no,
before we
I
got
just-
too deep into the other logistics.
Sure, okay.
One other question here. Daryl, I know I've seen the bricks and it looked like maybe 100 bricks or so. That was just driving by. It fell off. Are there more that are like ready to fall off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could that whole wall fall down?
Yes. And other sections of the building that are similarly compromised, that are weak and could potentially collapse. That's why if you drive by the building, you'll notice that on 3 sides of the building, there is a 30-foot construction fence giving us that perimeter in case other bricks fall. And to walk in and out of the building through any entrance, there is scaffolding that you walk under that is protective on the top to protect anyone in case another brick were to fall. And not just on the side where there is exposed concrete, but on the other 3 sides where it is deemed to be compromised and weak.
And this is all coming off the part that was built in, what, 1922?
Some of the older buildings, the newer part, and thankfully the part that is facing the playground is solid, and so we don't have a risk of bricks falling off of that section of it, which is why we were able to continue to have recess at the end of the school year, because it's on that side of the building where the brick is still solid.
Passes 4-0.
So then before we move on to the next one, if you don't mind, we'll just finish the conversation around Corrine Elementary, just so we can have it all in one section so people can hear the whole story. So we are continuing to have work done to look at that. So as Chris mentioned, there is a section that is exposed. So the brick facade has pulled away and exposed the brick wall or the concrete wall under that. It is in a section that is right underneath some windows. So we have bricks toward the top of that building that also are weak, and we remove the air conditioning units because of the risk of falling bricks, hitting the air conditioning unit and ripping it out of the window. That was prior to school ending for the year, so we did put some portable AC units in those 2 classrooms because they also had to have the windows boarded up. So those were some immediate steps that were taken to just get us to the end of the year. Now that the architects and engineers are working on that, one of the things they have to do is remove some of the other bricks that are on that wall. The issue is, as they've tried to get in there and pull some of those off, the wall is so weak that pulling those off also could be kind of like pulling the string on a sweater. The whole thing starts to unravel, and the wall is very unsteady. It also has an issue with the way the windows are in there. So when they go to take those bricks off the wall, it could very well impact the windows, and the windows could actually need to come out, or they could just come out with the bricks. So there could be some other pieces, which is why the urgent necessity was needed, because if the bricks come down and the windows come out, there's additional work that we have to do. One of the things that we're looking at is once they get that exposed and they can really look at the remediation of that, we'll have a better sense of what the cost will be to remediate that section. We have other sections that are very similar in that style that just haven't fallen yet, but they could at any moment. So that gives us a sense of the other areas on the other two sides of the building that are weak, and if the same thing happens, what are we going to be dealing with there, which is what I mentioned with the cost. If all of these sections are going to cost an enormous amount of money to remediate and get back online, it could be that the building is not worth saving, and we have to start looking at how do we start implementing our catastrophic plan. So our goal would be that hopefully we can stabilize the building. We'll be able to start school at Colerain Elementary. Preschool will still be at Houston, and best case scenario, we'll be able to spend this year prepping for the transition of those buildings next year if they cannot be used. What we are going to try to avoid is some mid-year building shift. Talking about shifting Colerain Elementary to Houston and Houston to central office in December would be hugely disruptive and very chaotic, and we are trying to avoid that. But right now, we need the engineers to be in there this week to pull off what they can to give us an estimate of what we're dealing with. So there's still so many unknowns. All we can say is the possibilities, because we don't have the data yet. Chris, is there anything that I missed that you want to share?
How soon will the engineers be able to tell us?
They're starting
hey,
to work
get
tomorrow.
out of that building.
Yeah, so like Daryl said, they'll start demolition tomorrow. So
And how
obviously,
long will that take?
Please?
How long will that take?
Roughly a week for the demolition. So they'll start peeling the brick off from the top down until they get to something that is stable. At that time, they'll identify what needs to be done and come up with a plan to put some type of siding back up, whether it's brick or we go with some type of steel structure or something different.
Chris, are the cinder blocks in good shape that are, the main support?
Well, that's something that we don't know yet, Chris. That's why they have to peel off that brick. A lot of the building structure itself is poured concrete. That's part of what they were seeing was a lot of deteriorating concrete that was behind the brick. So there are steel lintels that actually hold the brick up above the windows. All of that was failing and pulling away from the building. So there's a lot of things that they'll be able to identify once they start peeling the brick away from the building.
Thank you.
The other thing I want to call out about Colerain Elementary, we've been talking about, and just to reiterate what you said earlier, Nicole, this is not any kind of bait and switch for a bond issue. This is an issue that we have to deal with as a district and a community. But we have been in a program with the State Facility Commission for our expedited local partnership, which when we built the 3 new elementaries, we were earning a credit. The one thing that we are working with them on now is based on the fact that we have a building that is 100 years old, that is failing, that could cause the district to cause us to completely change our operations and try to move kids into other buildings and disrupt everything. We've been working with them about what are some options that they could help us with from a state level. When we entered into that agreement in 2015 for the 3 new elementaries, at that point, the cost share agreement based on all the factors with the district was 22%. That means that the state was willing to kick in 22% credits for a future co-funded project. So when we built the 3 new elementaries, we earned 22% of the cost of those buildings that were built to the state's recommendations. Currently, we've been talking to the state because they keep telling us that your co-funded project is coming, it's coming, it's coming. We've been talking about that since 2015 and before, around the state keeps saying about 5 years, about 5 years. Well, it's been more than 5 years. So we've been asking them again and again and again, when is that time? They are potentially looking at expediting that process for us based on this. That would move us into a co-funded phase sooner. The issue that we are fighting right now is based on current data that the state is using. They would change our cost share from the state paying 22% to the state paying 45%. So we have been advocating at the state that they allow us to move into a new cost share agreement. They are at this time not amenable to that, even to cancel the old one and move into a new one. So we are continuing to work through legislative and advocacy with the state to try to maximize the amount of cost sharing on the state side to minimize that cost impact on the community. Things are moving rapidly with our building and with that process. So I would ask that the community to continue to stay engaged, because if we are not successful in pushing that forward where they would consider a cost share agreement revision, which they have done for other districts, that we would engage the community in helping us with a letter writing campaign to really advocate for what we believe the district deserves. So just an FYI that more will be coming. We will be putting things out if we get to that point with a letter writing campaign, which could be coming in the next 2 weeks if we need it. But we will be pushing out information for people with, here are the email addresses, here are the talking points, so that people can help us push this across the finish line to truly make a huge difference for the state, for the district. Because when you think about the size of the district and the cost of our master plan, almost $400 million still left to go to build out the rest of our plan. 45% versus 22% is huge. And so that is something that we will continue to fight for the district.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to hearing more and keeping the community engaged on that process.
Yeah.
Amy?
Next, we have the 24-25 Student Activities Handbook that was for informational purposes last meeting. So tonight I ask the board to approve the Student Activities Handbook for next year as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions, discussion items? Okay, passes 4-0. Thank you.
Okay, and finally, a Board of Education every 5 years has to enter in a depository agreement with a bank so that we can, process our checks, receive our funds. So I recommend that we advertise and request bids for our banking services as listed.
Motion and a second.
So moved.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the next items are just for information. They'll come back at the 24th meeting. We have all of our handbooks that need to be reviewed and then approved at the next meeting. This includes all of our personnel handbooks, our curriculum handbooks, our instructional fee lists, and then the handbooks relating to our student services, guidelines, and code of conduct for every building. So these are on there now for information, and they'll come back on the 24th for a final vote.
Thank you.
All right, then, since we already talked about Corrigan Elementary, for my update, I just want to acknowledge the fact that part of the HR items tonight was accepting my resignation effective June 30th, as I will be taking a position in another district. I'm going to read this because it's easier to read it than it's usually easier for me just to talk off the cuff, but I prepared something to read tonight. So when I first came to the district as a teacher over 20 years ago, I could never have imagined leaving the classroom. When I moved into administration, I could never imagine becoming superintendent. And at any time since I came to Northwest, I could never imagine leaving. I've been blessed with numerous opportunities throughout my career, and I've come to know and care about the students, staff, and families by name and story in this district. Northwest has a rich history and tradition, but also a very vibrant future. When I became superintendent, we were still emerging from COVID pandemic. We were still measuring feet between desks. Even though that's now a distant memory, we've spent the last 2 years since the pandemic setting the stage for accelerated growth. As mentioned by the One Plan tonight, some of the other things that we've done where we've brought additional partners to the district through like our KISSER program. We've created advisory councils where I give time for parents, students, and families who may not normally be at the PTA meeting or in another environment to be able to have feedback from everyone. We have spent tireless time working to align our systems of data collection from the classroom to the district so that we are not collecting data for the sake of data, but because it's actually actionable and it's moving us toward a goal. Amy has been an amazing partner to help guide and direct the 3% partnership to stay not only within that, but to redirect our resources to our greatest needs. We've been able to correct outdated salary schedules and truly compensate some of our classified employees based on market trends in a way that is equitable and honors them. We've done a lot of long-term planning to address facilities, which is coming to fruition now sooner than we thought we might need. We've really focused on bringing all of our administrators together with one mission, making sure that our food services and our transportation supervisors have an equal seat at the table with our building principals, and making sure that we've worked with our employee groups, our CEMC, our teachers union, our transportation union, all of our employee groups to make sure that their voices are heard. I am extremely proud of the work that we've done as a district to set the stage for future growth. As I think about the different employee groups I've been able to work with to the board, I say thank you. For the opportunity to lead a district that I care deeply about has been a great honor. As elected officials, you hear from people who are primarily complaining. You get the phone calls when someone is upset. And one of the things that I would encourage you to remember is that that is a small minority of our community. We have an amazing district with great things happening, and our administrators are the front line of that. They are thinking about and meeting our families where they are, they're supporting our staff, and they are trusted leaders. And so trust their experience, their voice, and their leadership. They will take us to great heights. To the staff, I say thank you. Your passion and commitment is unrivaled. You are in a field of education for a reason, and you chose Northwest for a passion. I've worked with many of our staff as colleagues, as a co-teacher in a classroom, and so I've seen the work that they do, and I've gotten to know them not just as employees or co-workers, but as friends and people. They are amazing, and they make Northwest special, and we need to continue to honor all of those people. To the families, please get engaged. Please be engaged. Our district is special and worth fighting for, and we are large enough to have a lot of resources and programs, but small enough to feel connected. And our schools and our communities have local identities, but they need to have district pride. And you need to be engaged, and you need to be vocal in making sure that you support the district. So please, please, please be engaged. The fact that we have PTA boards who cannot fill all their seats is criminal. We should have people in line for those positions. So please get involved. To the community, we have a strong public and non-public education ecosystem in this district, and it makes Northwest special. Those two ecosystems are already intricately involved in many ways. Our treasurer's office is processing their POs. Our special education office is focused on students with disabilities in those spaces, identifying them, working with scholarships in those buildings. Our federal programs office is intimately connected with them. Our transportation office is getting the kids to and from school, and our safety protocols we share with them as collaborative partners so they learn from the safety protocols that we have in place. Public and non-public education do not have to be in conflict. It is not a both and. It is not an either or. It is a both and. And in this district, we have the ability to come together to truly unite those two ecosystems and prove that it can be a both and option and be a model for how the rest of the state handles that. I am not arrogant enough to believe that everything I did as a leader was perfect or had the outcome that I intended. However, I know that every decision I made was with the best intention to create a more positive experience for kids, staff, and families. One common trait among people in education is humility. We are the people behind the scenes. We are the wind beneath the wings of other people. And the one thing that I could have done a better job at as I reflect is being louder. Using my voice to shout from the rooftops the incredibly good things that are happening in this district. My hope is that as a community and as a staff, we take back our narrative and we tell our story louder and stronger than anyone else. I encourage our staff to use the report from employee organizations. You ask me every meeting, is anyone here? Almost every meeting, it's a no. I encourage our staff to show up, have your voice heard, use that part of the agenda to tell the good things that are happening. Same thing with our community. When we have community comments, a lot of times people are here because the community comment is something they have an issue with. It is okay to have a positive community comment. So I encourage people to use that part of the agenda to start shouting from the rooftop just how special Northwest is. I am not a social media fan. I am not on social media. But I encourage those people who are on social media to use their voice to scream the positives against the negativity. You can be louder and win this war. So use your social media voice to call out the things that are wrong and to amplify the things that are amazing. Because Northwest does have an amazing educational and employment opportunity. As a teacher, my purpose was to impact students to achieve at their highest possible level. And a lot of times that meant that I had to believe in the students more than they believed in themselves until they caught up with me and understood just how much potential they had. When I moved throughout my administrative career, I had to really redefine my purpose because I got farther and farther away from kids. And so my purpose as an administrator became to make sure that the environments were right so that other staff members could have the experience I had. So when I was able to walk through a building and look in a classroom and see a teacher and students having an experience that was comparable to the joy that I found in the classroom, then I felt like we were doing our job. One of the things that has prompted me to make this move and that I'm looking forward to is getting back to a position where I am more connected to the people again. More connected to the staff, more connected to the buildings and departments to truly have that impact to make optimal environments for staff. As a superintendent, you end up getting way up in the clouds with all of the big picture items, the legislative advocacy and the politics and all the other things. And so in order to feed my soul of what makes me beat as an educator, I need to get back to a place where I am more directly connected to staff to truly impact them so that they are the best version of themselves for our kids. No matter where I am, Northwest will always be in my heart. And it will always be a place that I champion, whether I'm here or not. And I can't wait to see what this district does moving forward, because with or without me, we have people and systems in place that care, that will move this district forward, and this will become the destination district where our families and our staff and other people are begging to get to, because it's that kind of district. And so I can't thank the board enough for the opportunity that I've had here, from teacher to superintendent. It's been an amazing journey, and I can't say anything negative about this district, and I never will. You are a special place and deserve the best. So thank you.
Chris?
I want to just address what Daryl read there. I've actually served under 7 superintendents. One that only was here 4 days, if you can believe that or not, but that was a very trying time. And I can honestly say that, without a doubt, Daryl has been the hardest working, probably one of the most decent human beings that I've ever worked with. I wish he had been my boss in some of the hospital jobs that I've had over the years. Nobody doubts how bright Daryl is and his energy and the good things he's done for this district. And I certainly wish him nothing but the best with his new position. It's going to be a lot closer to home for you, Daryl.
A little bit.
And you certainly leave many good things and marks with this district, and I thank you for that.
Daryl, I want to say thank you for the time that you put into our district. I'm going to go on record and say I still think you're the right guy for our district. I hate to see you leaving like this, but when you have 5 board members and majority rules, that's the way it goes. But I hope we can move forward with this district, because we have a Herculean event coming, and it's in these 2 renewal levies that we got coming up in 27 and 29, and we need new money in 28. And the community better sit up and take notice, because we could be in a world of hurt, because we don't want to end up like our neighboring school district, Mount Healthy, where the state comes in and takes you over because you don't have any money to continue to educate our kids. And that would be a crying shame if that happened. And I think the community just needs to wake up and look and see what's out there, because 2027 is 3 years away. It's going to be here like a freight train coming down the track. And I think it's something that we need to pay attention to, and we need to look at it now. You know, because I had talked to Amy last week, and if we don't pass these renewal levies, we're going to be $25 million in the hole. And there's no way we can continue this school district. And you come in here and the state takes you over. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just telling you the facts that could happen if we don't pass levies and get the community on board. You know, the state comes in, you're down to bare minimum on everything. I just had a conversation for 45 minutes the other night with the Mount Healthy School Board, and she says it's awful being on that school board and having to go through this. So I just want to get that out there and let the community digest it and see what they think, and, you know, if they think this district's worth saving, because I do. I mean, I've lived here my whole life. My kids went here. I went here. I just think it's something that we need to really pay attention to right now. And other than that, I just want to thank all the kids in that got recognized tonight. That was awesome. And I would hate to lose something like that down the road, that we can't do that for our kids. That's it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, you know, all of life is about choices, the changes that choices bring, and how we adapt to those changes. We don't always like the changes that come. Human nature likes us to just stick on the same path and not change a thing, because we like our patterns, we like our stability. Change doesn't have to be bad. Change can be very good. Depends on the mindset you go into the change with. And if you can go in with a positive mindset, you can make a change that you didn't particularly care for turn out to be a beautiful outcome. I think the district has a good backbone. We have a good structure. We have excellent educators. We have good administrators. There's no reason that we can't continue to make this district move forward. I definitely appreciate everything Daryl's given to the district. He certainly is a hard worker. My time spent with him has been short, but it has been valuable, and I wish him the best in his new job. And I also would like to, the two little Avas that were here from Montford Heights Elementary were the most poised little young ladies I've ever seen, and their desire to help others is remarkable, and you can know that they're going to do wonderful things. And congratulations to all the musicians and the athletes as well.
Well said, thank you. I'd just like to start out by thanking Daryl as well. The past 2 years, I've probably brought more of the items to you from everyone, but also bring the positive too. So I just appreciate your hard work and time that you've dedicated on putting out fires and trying to connect people, and that does not go unnoticed. And just wish everyone a great summer. Thank all the students again and the staff that were here tonight. These programs cannot go on without the teachers, and every time Jacob Page is here, it's amazing what he does with those students and just the amount of accolades that they receive. I would like to end by reading a statement, and I, like Daryl, am better at, well, he's better at just talking off the cuff, but I'm going to be better at reading this. And this is just a board statement. We would like to thank Daryl for his time and dedication to the Northwest Local School District. While change can present challenges, as a board, we remain committed to making progress towards fostering a culture of academic excellence. We are looking forward to new opportunities for growth and innovation, and we fully support the amazing administrators, teachers, and staff in our district. The success of our students remains a top priority. We are confident that a leader will emerge to guide our district into a successful future. We look forward to naming an interim superintendent in the upcoming weeks.
And the next part is an executive session, so the board will approve a motion to move into executive session to consider confidential information related to negotiations with other political subdivisions, respecting requests to economic developments and assistance. So the superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Passes 4-0. Just a reminder that when we move into executive session, after our return, it will be just to adjourn the meeting and no further business will take place. Thank you.